I just found out when the next Jurassic World Evolution 2 DLC will come out. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we'll be discussing how our next DLC actually might have been confirmed in the Steam database. Now, if you guys don't know, Steamdb is a website that you're able to see when developers are actually working on their game. And one of these games, of course, is Jurassic World Evolution 2. Jurassic World Evolution 2 is always seeing new updates, which usually don't really mean anything. But sometimes these little updates in SteamDB actually do mean something for our next DLC and update. And this has occurred again. Before we continue, I think I should give you guys some context for this. Now, there are a lot of different terms and things that are able to be updated in SteamDB. But one of the only things that we actually care about that actually means something are LQAs. Now, LQAs are quality assurance updates, and LQA means a final quality assurance update. And these usually come a few weeks before the DLC is fully released to the public. LQAs vary. Sometimes they come in 6 weeks or 8 weeks. It honestly depends on the type of DLC we're receiving. When it comes to species packs, we usually receive them 42 days before, which is 6 weeks. And this has actually occurred for all of our DLCs so far. Our latest DLC, the Prehistoric Marine Species Pack, got its LQA added on June 30th, which was 41 days before it was released. The one before that, another pack, was the Feathered Species Pack. Its LQA was added on the 16th of February, and it came out on the 30th of March, 42 days in between those two dates. The Late Cretaceous Pack LQA was added on August 3rd, and it was released on September 15th, 43 days between those two. And the Camp Cretaceous Pack LQA was added on January 21st, and it came out on March 8th, which is 47 days in between. Now, the Early Cretaceous Pack is kind of odd, as its LQA was added on November 10th, and the DLC came out on December 9th. In between that's 30 days. Honestly, I do think that the reason that this occurred was because they already had this DLC ready and didn't really need to do much. So I honestly I'm not going to count that. But for Species Pack, it's around 40 something days in between LQAs and DLC releases. But for expansions, it's kind of different. Now, for our last expansion, the Mantah expansion, the LQA was added on October 13th, and we know it released on December 8th. That was 56 days apart. For the Biosyn expansion, that was added in April 13th and released on June 14th. That was 63 days apart. Getting the average between those two is around 60 days. So that is 2 months before the expansion is released. As this LQA has been added in now, we can estimate when our next DLC will be released. Now, as the amount of days, depending on the type of DLC we get. Now, somehow this is a species pack and not an expansion, then we can probably assume that the DLC will come out sometime in mid-November. Now, if it is 42 days after the LQA is added, it will come out through November 28th to November 30th. Now, if it's 49 days after the LQA was added a week after, that would be through December 5th to December 7th. But honestly, I don't think we're going to get a species pack this time. I think we're going to get an expansion. If it is an expansion, then 56 days after would be December 13th to December 15th. That this will probably be when our DLC comes out. Now, 63 days after the LQA would be through December 19th to December 21st. So I do think that we're probably going to get our expansion sometime in early to mid-December, probably December 14th or December 21st, if I had to guess. Now, in my opinion, I do think that we are probably going to get an expansion this time. And we are kind of due for another expansion. We got 2 species pack back to back, with the Feathered Species Pack and the Prehistoric Marine Species Pack. So I definitely do think it's time to add in another expansion. Now, in my opinion, I think there are 2 options. That being a Mantah Corp expansion and that being a novel expansion. Now, the novels have a lot of different content that could be added in. They have like around 8 or 9 different species that could be added in, a bunch of new decorations, a bunch of new skins, and a lot of different attractions that could also be added in. And that would honestly make an amazing DLC. One of the most notable animals that is from the novel that hasn't been shown up yet is the Microceratops. As it's shown up in Jurassic World Dominion, I do think that it's going to be added in at some point. Maybe in the novel DLC. The other possibility is another Camp Cretaceous DLC. Now, although the Nothosaurus has just been added in to the Prehistoric Marine Species Pack, I do think that a Mantah Corp expansion still has a lot of content that could be added in. There are dozens of skins that still haven't been added in from the show. There are a bunch of new mechanics that could be added in. Maybe a Mantah Corp map with multiple different biomes on it. Maybe Brads and Brad X's could be used as ranger teams and ACU teams. There's honestly a lot of potential with this DLC, and there's of course 3 species that haven't been added in from the show: the Smilodon, the Tarbosaurus, and the Spinoceratops. They could also honestly just throw in the Microceratops in there if they want to keep their 4 species limit, which honestly they have been following a lot With the Mantah DLC, they could have easily just thrown in Microceratus in there as well, but they didn't. They wanted to keep it to 4 species. And the Morus Intrepidus doesn't really fit in with the Mantah theme. So honestly, if they really wanted to, they could honestly just throw in the Microceratus with the Camp Cretaceous DLC. And of course, the Camp Cretaceous DLC is still the one I want the most, and would honestly probably bring in the most content. Maybe the control chips would allow us to control dinosaurs and maybe attack our guests. This would honestly be a really amazing DLC. Either way, both of these expansions are both incredibly amazing and could offer us brand new ways to enjoy Jurassic World Evolution 2. But what do you guys think? Are you guys excited to see what new DLC Jurassic World Evolution 2 has coming in November or December? And if you had to take a guess, what do you think it would be and when would it release? And if you think I deserve it, I would definitely appreciate a like and subscribe. But that's it for me. And I will see you guys next time.